critical news. Everybody, especially Albertans, but actually it is largely Albertans, even though it's all of Canada. Actually, Ontario, this is a major blow, a smashing blow to Ontario and Alberta largely in many ways. And I've tried to be truthful all the way through this, regardless of fallout. I'm getting just shit slammed again, largely by what I call conservatives. And it's very sad. It's very sad. I addressed many lies this morning. I have to go on now to terrible, terrible news Canada for the province of Ontario and the province of Alberta. Massive, massive bad news. Apparently people don't like to look at news. Definitely won't look outside CBC to be BC news at all. They can't stand America, I guess, or you don't take USA seriously. Well, you should now. So first I'm going to start with the Dud petition, the referendum petition for Alberta independence. 15 weeks ago today, so before the launch of the Alberta independence referendum to become independent of Canada and become an independent state. It's all they're allowed to say because they have to follow the made in Canada legal system that isn't matched, again, in international law, even though I presented the legal path in international law to independence of a region, any Canadian region. I gave that in platform in 2019. I'm the only Anglophone Canadian in the history of all of Canada to ever run a majority for independence in a provincial election. I'm the only Anglo to do that. Quebec has done that, but when it comes to all the other English provinces, I'm the only Anglo to run that outside of Quebec in a clear majority, meaning a massive majority MLA candidate run platform. I did that. We saw the voter turnout. I dealt with P.O. boxes. I've done many signature drives for many things, including our federal party, where I immediately turned down anybody who provided P.O. boxes. I said, I need your email address because I need your real address, phone number or email address, and we collected that. We did that. I was in Mirror, Alberta. I was all over rural Canada and city Canada, all over the place to get my petition drive done across Canada during COVID. During COVID, I did that. The worst way to travel with all the restrictions, all the abuse. I went through all of it, including taking the shots, doing all what was required of me to see the job done. That's me. That's the choice I made. I don't care. What's relevant here is I know elections because I ran one in clear majority. Not only an election and led that, I ran trying to get Premier of Alberta for Alberta Independence. The name of the party was Alberta Independence Party, AIP. We ran a mass majority of candidates. We blew the Liberal Party of Alberta out of the water. We were more welcomed in rural Alberta than we were, or than the Liberal Party was. Kicked their butt. TV will never tell you that, but the statistics are on Elections Canada to prove that. We should have been in all of the forums. We should have been televised. I was thrown out of that. Complete manipulations. Even had put in person to make up a story about a history with me. Total fiction. That's how lowly and despicable both conservatives, who were dirty shirts in this, that was UCP, under Jason Kenney, as well as Liberals, Alberta Party, NDP. They were all working together to try and destroy any forward momentum. That being said, there's statistical analysis here of what the registered electorate can do and what people who don't ever vote can't do, especially when you come with a P.O. box. You're not a registered voter. You're not part of the electorate. You're not going to see effectual change because you won't legally be allowed to vote in the election. Now, Alberta Prosperity Project, Sylvester was on the news last night. He sat down with National Post, told him what's going on. We haven't made the signature drive yet. They haven't come up to their 170,000 signatures. Their claim is that everybody who shows up currently at all these rural events doesn't have a legitimate address, which means they're not a registered voter. They're not registered to vote in Canada. While they can vote in Canada, what's called voucher ballots, which is a whole other topic, which makes me really laugh at Canada and foolish Canadians. And Canadians running me down, Albertans going crazy. Who are you? Who do you think you are? I nail statistical analysis very well. I've predicted many elections far better than the pundits. I've lived elections. I do it by door knocking and actually getting boots on the ground. That's what I've done my whole life. You'll never find anybody as well door knocked than me. I have a pile of people who vouch for that because I took them through the door knocking process even in their own constituencies. I did that. Very good at it. Very well spoken. I get through it. I know what I'm talking about. I know what Canadians are like. I understand subjects very well. I also understand First Nations very well. I don't think there's another Canadian non-First person who's been to as many reserves as myself. I've shock-loaded People's Party of Canada constituents who were going to run for that party federally by taking them out to reserves and saying, do you want to learn something today? And boy, did they ever. And you know what? It changed their life forever, and they're not the same after the experience. Everything they thought they knew was blown up and popped by the reality of boots on the ground. Touring your average reserve, finding out how children have to go to school there, what they go through, how easy it is for missing and murdered Indigenous children to happen in Canada. I showcase that and what reserves have to go through to protect their children as best as they can. No joke. And once a person was put through that to see what it's like on a reserve and to see that these are just people too, mistreated people in Canada, bar nowhere else, that's an awakening for people. That's an awakening for people who are brave enough to entertain me on that kind of reality check. And I do have a lot of heart, a lot of courage to do the things I say, mean what I say, and go out there and get the job done. I've lived through doors slammed in my face, heckling, get the out of here, get the F off my property, I'll shoot you down, you mother, right? Been through all of it. And I don't talk out my butt because I live my life in the real world with these boots on the ground. I get my statistics from real life, getting these hands dirty, getting in there, learning what it is. Now, that being said, I did a statistical analysis 15 weeks ago. I told you, again, this is a reduced requirement. A reduced requirement. 1/3 the requirement of what was required of the Stay in Canada folks who completed their signature drive way ahead of schedule with 3 times the numbers. If you don't understand that puts you at already a 25-75% disadvantage, I don't know what to tell you. Now remember, that was under the old, more stringent rules, lower time frame. I can extrapolate from their petition drive against your petition drive and tell you in real numbers and in real time what that looks like statistically. That's how this brain here works, and it's worked very well for me and other folks who are very, very proven to be successful at it. As I'm growing and I'm becoming very successful at it. Now we take those numbers against each other, those time frames, we see the struggle the same folks are having on the opposite side of the spectrum. And I can tell you, within 5 days, you're looking at now, if it's not completed in the next 5 days, you're down to a likelihood of only 13.5% of the Alberta electorate able to vote, voting for Alberta independence. That's what this is showcasing. Because you should have had mega bigger lines. You should have had monstrous participation. The longer it goes, the more fall off there is, and the more people who start to rethink their initial positions, especially when the Crown keeps presenting paths forward, like Danielle Smith, in carbon pricing, methane production, shrinkage. And we made a deal with the federal government. We're going to get a pipeline to China for oil. We're going to get 2 more pipelines for all of natural gas in Alberta to China so that we're out well before 2050. This is where Canadians, large margins of Albertans are going. They've always gone there, folks. The point I'm making is that the registered electorate always stays on certain sides of the equation. Very little movement. These are robotic people who only listen to what the government and the media say. And that's a mass majority. Less than 20% of that mass majority flip-flops back and forth. They don't think, they only know one thing. I elect this party, I'm going to get what I want. I elect this party, I'm going to get what I want. They don't care about all the problems that happen in between. They just blame it on the other folks. It's past the hot potato. Even though the hot potato is burning the mass majority, they can't see it, just like they can't see what's going to come. And I don't do this to be mean. I do this to showcase what is true, what is the reality of institutionalization that's not just in liberal land, it's all of Canada across the board. Canadians, you need to understand, and Americans comment more and more. I've had a big upswing in American comments today, and they see what I'm trying to tell you, and they're going, wow, we're praying for those people, but, you know, they got to be putting down the no king stuff and where Canadians are. Canadians running down Trump, Canadian politicians, and Canadian journalists and mass produce to try and sponsor a government south of the border they think is going to yield great results for the Canadian Crown. It's not. Helping the Democrats win an election is not going to change the status quo with the United States. Here's what happened today in other breaking news. Alberta is supposed to be home of 14 of these F-35s. Well, I can tell you 48 are already on their way to Japan. They're already en route. They're getting staged permanently in Japan. Japan got F-35 deal, 48 of them. In fact, Candidate's 96 is looking like a big joke. 14 by 2028 to be stationed in Alberta with Chinese AI chip infused from the Chinese regime, known to spy that way, banned in the United States, are going to be all over Canada. In fact, there's going to be about 45,000 by the time those F-35s. At least these 14 are due. And what do you suppose is going to happen to Canada, the NATO country, with the F-35s? They're going to retract them and say, I'm sorry, you violated our security, our national security, our international peace and security. Fuck you, Canada. More than that, Canadian SMRs, we're building SMRs here in Canada, at least in the province of Ontario. Trump was brought for a tour of that. The Canadian U.S. representative, international, NATO was brought. They all got the tour, as well as they did the tour of Japan. Japan won all of them. Canada got none. Japan's got 48 F-35s going on the ground, permanently stationed in their air base, coming just in the next 2 days, 48 hours. Canada's got none. Where do you think we're really going? Alberta, that was all supposed to be for you, Cold Lake. I know. I'm Canadian. I'm born Albertan. I follow these things. You're going to get none. In fact, this summer, we're not going to have any kind of USMCA. It's going to be an annual review with annual demands, annual smashings going forward. That will not only end, it won't end with Donald J. Trump and the end of his presidency. This stuff is going to go on year after year with the Democrats too, should they win an election, if they win an election. That's where you're going to go. All the suckling you're doing to Americans is not going to change a thing. A couple small northern states, an ineffectual reality, delusional reality you think you have over America, you don't. Not clear majority of Republicans and a good majority of Democrats, which divides their base, meaning even if they were in a position of power, the majority of Democrats would go against their own leadership and House, Senate, if it meant compromising to China or giving Canada any more over Americans. And that's just reality. If you don't know this, it's absolutely bound in Democrat and Republican committee reports, mass amounts of reports over many years. Canada isn't going to get off this hook. Canada's not going anywhere. It doesn't look to me like Alberta's going to win any kind of referendum. In fact, it's going to be an embarrassing loss. At this point, we're 5 days away from a statistical reality, if completed in the next 5 days, meaning April 2nd. As I said 15 weeks ago, any more time after that, which it looks like they're going to need, it's incline loss of electorate and falling off. That's just reality, because these people clearly haven't made up their mind. They were on the fence. They're unlikely. They're daily feelers. If bad policy from Canada hammer blows them, they'll go that way. But if Canada promises them free stuff at the right time, they're going to go with Canada. That's how they are. It was that first few weeks release where you had your diehard. And when you can't get even half the 177,000, you're in really, really bad shape when you're dealing with millions of electorate. 2.2 million electorate. When you're talking about 177,000 and not able to get that, do you see the problem coming up on 30 days and then the extra bonus 30 days beyond that far surpasses what the other group to stay in Canada had to achieve, and they did achieve in record time with record triple your numbers? That's a problem. That's a problem that showcases where the voting base is and isn't. And that's a serious problem. It's not done to be mean. Again, you can look at Sylvester, who registered the Alberta Prosperity Project petition with Elections Alberta. It's there on the website. I follow it all. He did the interview with National Post yesterday, spoke about all his troubles. They're saying, well, we're still on track to make it to the May 2nd. Well, that's really late. That's 120 days if you achieve it. They're saying they're on track to achieve it. That's bad juju. And P.O. boxes, that's par for the course. All of us know what that is. If a signatory can't sign with the legal address, it means they're not a registered voter. They never vote. They're not going to be able to vote in a legal referendum in the Canadian system anyway. And just so you all know, federally, voucher ballots allow for zero ID, zero addresses. Anyone can vouch for as many who knows Canadians as they want to in any Canadian federal election. It's huge out east. It's how they win elections out east. It's part and parcel. You don't have an election if you don't have a mass amount of voucher ballots. Didn't you know? I know it's not really well established out west, but it's the bread and butter of the east. It's a huge business. It's a massive, massive undertaking. I know I witnessed it for the first time in my life. I even participated in it. I utilized it as a Canadian citizen, where we're being persecuted because we did Canada, the 51st state, spoil ballots. We need to be taught a lesson. Nobody takes on the Liberals or Conservatives. That's how sick our system is. I make this video for everybody. And you better wake up fast, because Americans have woken up to you Canadians across both your political dimensions and all the crap in between. It's getting out there. It's reality for Americans, especially the political class, Democrats and Republicans. Democrats exploiting these Canadian fools? Sure they are. Are they going to get a big paddle whack across the ass when they least expect it and go, but I thought you cared about me? No, they hate your guts, but they'll use you for any purpose necessary to see their agenda through. It still doesn't mean they support you or your crown. They hate you. They hate you and everything you represent. But if you're going to be political capital for them in these times where they have none, they'll take it. And they'll laugh even when they crush you. That much I do know. That much I've read. That much is backed up and found in all high-level committee reports. If you didn't know, Democrats and Republicans, regardless of their majorities and minorities, get 50-50 at those high-level committees. No matter how big the party, majority or minority is, it's 50-50. It's a check and balance. And there you find the truth. And there you find the reality of, Canada, you're fucked. All of Canada's fucked. From Alberta to Ontario, Quebec, Atlantic, far west BC, and everything in between territories, it doesn't matter. All of Canada is epically screwed. And there's no voting your way out of it. There's no made in Canada system ever to deliver you anything other than subjugation. It was always rigged that way. It always will be. And it's part and parcel of the massive propaganda and institutionalization we all get in preschool all the way through. And I hate to tell you this, if you didn't know, statistically, Canadians, your education levels have been dropping steady. As you become a bigger threat, mass immigration takes over and your education levels continue to drop. And that's not an accident. That's a government that's going, we need to keep these people down by any means necessary. Don't let them Americanize. We must end all that. That's their number one constitutional strategy. It's why we're all huddled along the Canadian border in the very limited amounts of private property and the very limited amounts of reserved lands unsustainable. It's to keep you all good subjects and defined Indian Act savages. Keep you in line, keep the crown in power, keep them rich, you poor. America bad, China good. That's where a majority of Canadians are. Doesn't matter which province you go to, you're clearly going to see that with this petition. If it comes to fruition, that's not even a guarantee yet. That's how this is right now. And statistically, that doesn't bode well when you can't even secure that 10% threshold. That has a bad statistical reality outcome. And again, how could I measure that? By taking one that did have a real time frame and statistical outcome. How long did the other side take? How many numbers did they get? Alberta, independence, you're in a lot of trouble. It's not looking good at all. And this is coming from a guy who ran a majority, the only one ever in anywhere in Anglo-Canada for Alberta independence, where we got 0.7% of the electorate. Think about that. Less than 1%. We ate that. That's called reality check, deep institutionalization. Now, does that mean out of 7%, even if it was 7%, they did a horrible job? No, do the math. They moved it by 100 points. Think about that. They moved it by 100 points. That's huge. But is it anywhere near effectual? The answer is no, not at this time. That's my video. That's my truth. Please look at Japan, Canada. We are being replaced in international peace and security. We are finished. I showed everybody last week, and it wasn't even shared that much. I think 130 people maybe. I showed you the introduction to the U.S. Constitution, known as the Preamble. I showed you the imposed 1947 till today Japanese Constitution. It's preliminary. And then I show you Canada's. There's 3 constitutional introductions to what the documents are about. 2 of them match very closely. Which 2 do you think they are? It's got to be Canada and USA, right? Wrong. It's Japan and USA. Tit for tat. And then there's this weird, sick, perverted constitution introduction preliminary called Canada, where you don't have sovereignty, huh? You exist for the benefit and the might of the British Empire? Well, where's we the people, like Japan and USA? Where are we the people? Okay, so you read past the introduction, okay, through on the preamble, all the way through all the sections. Keep reading. You're sweating because, God, it's getting hard to read this confusing document. Oh, my head hurts. It's been 40 minutes. How many more pages do I gotta go through? Well, what's this? Why is this cut and paste? Oh, this is another amendment. Oh, what's this cut and paste? Oh, another amendment. Okay, I still don't see we the people. Finally, it's been an hour and 15 minutes. I made it to 1982. What have I read so far? Well, I heard a lot about a lot of crown people, a lot of crown power, a lot of we do this, we do that, we do this. But where's me? We the politician. Me the elected. These are all our positions in order. That's all I read about is how great and powerful they all are. Then I read about all the appointments. Wow, shit ton of them. Took me an hour and 15 minutes to get through this. Still haven't heard anything about me. All I hear about is all of them and all the things they get to do and they get to have. Their power, their authority. And I better. Huh? What? Where's me? Oh, here's 1982. Oh, wait a minute. It says, hold on, before you read this, we have veto over all that shit. Huh? You mean this doesn't apply to me if they don't want it to? These charter rights and freedoms? This aboriginal? What the hell is an aboriginal? By definition, a not of the human species. Aboriginal. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Non-human being, yeah. Oh, you mean like savage? Oh, it's a nicer way of the Indian Act. Oh, okay. But again, the first section there says, before I get into this, they have the power to giveth and taketh away any of this as they see fit. Again, it's not for me, it's for them. Then after I read the document, I get back more into more powers of the government and all their powers over money. What? All the money? Yeah. Well, I'm not there either. They tell me I get my ass to work. It doesn't say anything about me controlling any of that. I have no say. In fact, I'm just property for all of that. For them. They tell us how it is. Again, keep going through. Holy crap. Still haven't got to me. Hour and 45 minutes later, I'm finally at the end of the Canadian Constitution. My head hurts. I've read a whole bunch of crap about people I know nothing about, never heard of before, but yet they have all these authorities and powers. And in the end, they tell me, if you didn't figure it out, I'm a subject to, or you're a savage there and under. Huh? Yeah, and then they make reference to provincial powers that I should go look up. Other amendments not included in this, it's referenced. Then let's go spend another hour reading all those. Well, those are the Executive Powers Acts of every province and territory. I read those, and then I'm actually defined as a subject. You subject to. You will. This is the authority over you. You will listen. You will do. And then I learn about the autocratic power of my premier, my lieutenant governor, territorial commissioners, and all the super authority they have over me and my family. What? And I lose all these rights to all these things that were promised in the charter. Hey, what the hell's going on here? You didn't tell me any of this. This stuff supersedes the charter? How come no one taught me this as a child? Oh, yeah. Education. Whose is that? Oh, that's under the Executive Powers Acts too. It's not my authority. It's not your authority. There are no parental rights. They're the rights of the provincial crown and their appointments through the Prime Minister. All appointed positions. No elections there. Your property, slaves. Shut up. We own you, and we own all your offspring, too. Yeah. Been that way all along. Canadians don't want to admit it. They love their elbows up Canada. I love it. I love it. I hope my government rapes and murders all my children. I hope they force them to do everything they want against me. I hope they create a MAID program to put me away when the time comes so all my financials can be liquidated for the greatness of the crown, right? That's a good idea, right? That's real humanity, right? Pretty sick, folks, but that's the reality. Doesn't matter what province or territory you're in. That's the truth of you, and you're never getting out. They make it that way. They make it that way. Voucher ballots good for rigging federal elections. Voucher ballots no good for referendum questions, especially on independence. No, sirree, Bob. Can't have any of that, can we? Right? It's whatever they want it to be that serves them. Oh, democracy if it works for the parties. No democracy if it doesn't. If it's a threat to us and our authority, there won't be any democracy. This is Canada. Always has been, always will be, since it started, all the way through for as long as they can force it. Well, the good news is USA's woken up to it, and they're not going to entertain us anymore. There will be no more subsidies. USMCA is clearly coming to an end this summer. It's going to be over. It'll be annual. There'll be a list of demands. Canada, you make these demands, or we're going to do this, in sanctions and trade embargoes. Canada will have to cough it up, and Canadians will be going, I'm so broke now. My world's crushing. Wait a minute, my elbows are heavy. Oh, my knees are sore. Help, help. Crown, where's all my privileges? You don't have any anymore. We can't afford it. We were lying to you. You know, didn't you read your Constitution? We're legally allowed to lie to you. You're slaves, you stupid idiots. Couldn't con USA anymore. They're not going along with it. A lot of the world isn't going along with it. The British Empire is nearly finito. They're fucked. We exist to serve them, and now we've really sucked you dry to feed them, and there's an end to that line. IMF says we got to downgrade your credit rating. We got to devalue your dollar. Come on. You're getting into the second world. Very soon you're going to be third world. You got to devalue all your people. Canadians will be screaming by then. Oh, yes, they will be. Hopefully we've gone the road of Canada, the 51st state. I would hope by then. But I don't know with Canadians. They need to be smashed pretty hard. So I guess it's deep depression, long breadlines, cold winters, suffrage, ill health, maybe even fatalities, as sad as that is. I sure hope my family's going to be okay. I don't know about you, but those are the things I worry about in this. Anyways, folks, that's my video. Share, get it out there. Albertans can take it as they want. This is truth and reality. You can go on Elections Alberta website yourself. You can see the times, the petitions, all of them. You can see where they're at. And here we are with Alberta Prosperity Project struggling at almost 90 days for the 170,000 required, and they're going through it, that things aren't looking good. They're convinced they'll get it by the 120-day mark, but it's not easy. They're struggling. Bad sign, folks. Very bad sign. That's my video. Love you all. Share. You'll see in time, I don't do this to be mean. I don't do this to, I'm a smarty pants. It's called reality, truth check, getting to the heart of the matter at hand, that your system's flawed and broken. That's how much I understand it to be. This is from mega study. This is from years in the United States in some of the highest academic institutions, not only in America, most of them, but all over the world too. You'll be hard-pressed to go look at my Twitter and not find nothing but doctorates on there and wonder, why does this guy got 180 doctorates following him? Why would all these experts be following him? Who is he? He's got nothing for a Twitter following. Why are these serious ranked American academics following him? And more than that, why are all these others from all these countries around the world, why would they be doing that? Are these fake accounts? No, they're certified accounts. Those are real people. You can look at all the things they've done in their respective countries. Wow, these are pretty impressive people. Why are they following me? Because they like my welding videos I don't do? Well, they gotta love my Facebook Lives, right? That's why they're all following me, right? No, it's because of all the academic institutions I've visited, all the forums I've joined, all of these things I've done with them over many years. That's what got me there. Folks, that's my video. Share, get it out there. Can't make it up. It's the truth. It's a truth at hand, and Canada is in a big, bad way. Tonight's news on Japan should utterly shake Canadians to the core. What's wrong with you? Just grab them and shake them. What's wrong with you? That's your neighbors, your family, your friends. Wake up. We're at point critical. I know.